What's good, y'all? It's Zylar. I haven't had my balls busted this hard since the Elden Ring DLC. This sequel, PoE 2, it has been it's been pretty fucking painful. So, I thought I'd cover a few things that I thought were pretty helpful going through the campaign and some things I wish I had known before I got started. Tips and things that flowed through as I was playing, as friends were playing, and I was asking questions and stuff. So, to get started, I think a huge thing that would have helped earlier would have been knowing just what you should and shouldn't salvage, what's worth it, what you should sell, what happens with these currencies, and to check the vendors pretty much after every single quest. I know that the devs in an interview said, yeah, when you level and it resets the vendor's inventories as it does in PoE 1. I'm not sure if that's working correctly right now. I tried a few times. It didn't seem to work that way. It I would go after I leveled and was fairly certain they had the same inventory, and they have had some really good stuff. There are quite a few items that I've just straight up bought off of them. Like I had my friend buy this for me in Act 1. It had +1 all minion skills. So they've had some nutty stuff. I bought this. I bought this with like 44 spirit and 30 cold res, and then I regaled life. And I just exalted it a few times. And put some sockets in it. So the first thing after to check the vendors is the crafting currencies. I have a sort of a priority list in what I from most important to least important and how I think you should go about handling items you get that you would sell, disenchant, or salvage. First off, if you're a caster, particularly a minion player, as I'm not too certain about the sorceress, but you'll notice that martial weapons are different than probably your weapons. You can't quality your weapons with blacksmith whetstones. I personally could not quality this scepter until I found some other scepters that incidentally had quality on them and salvaged them at the salvage bench. If I go right over here, this thing right here, salvage anything that has a socket, given that it is not rare, it is not a qualityed martial or caster weapon. Outside of those two things, I would salvage them. So, most important, highest priority, salvaging items, caster items in particular, over anything else for quality for caster weapons. Those are pretty rare. I don't think I've seen any of those quality currency drop. I have tons of whetstones, tons of armor scraps, and they're even more important than I think regal shards while going through the campaign, because quality on your scepters is spirit, and I imagine it's something equally good for casters. Could be wrong on that. Let me know in the comments below if I am. 2, I would definitely recommend disenchanting every single rare. Every single rare, no questions asked. I don't care if it has sockets, unless it's a caster quality weapon. I don't care if it has quality. The regal orbs are pretty much the biggest way you can take some pretty decent looking item from an inventory or something that dropped for you, but it's blue and it has only 2 mods, and regal it into exalting it. Even if you have a ton of exalt, you can't do anything with them if you don't have any regal orbs. So again, that's my second priority. Regal shards are so important. I would highly, highly recommend, even from Act 1, if you get a rare and it's not particularly good for you, just straight up disenchant it. I gave out a few rares that were good for my friends. I even made the mistake of selling a few so that I could gamba in Act 1, and it really set me behind on this. 3, I think that after those two things, you should salvage anything with a socket. Personally, having the ability to just artificer orb any item you find that is decent is paramount. It could be said that if it's a quality martial weapon, you could choose to salvage that instead, but you actually get both. If it's qualityed and it's an artificer orb, or it has a socket, you get both. So there's really no like trade-off here, as there are with a lot of the other things. So like I said, quality things, instantly salvage, no questions asked. Unless it's a quality rare weapon. In that instance, honestly, regal orbs, they're so important. Artificer's orbs, they're great, and so are the cartographers. Not the cartographer's chisels, the blacksmith whetstones and the armor scraps. But I think regal orbs are second only to the quality currency for scepters and staffs. And then after that, honestly, just sell the items. Blue items, you know what? Let me show you. I stopped disenchanting blue items probably somewhere back in Act 2. And I've got 50 transmutes and 74 augments. You're going to have these two in abundance. You're not going to know what to do with them. You start selling blue items the minute you log into the game on a fresh character, you're going to be overwhelmed with these two currencies. But regals, I'm always hurting for regals. I'm always hurting for this. And I've saved up a few artificer's orbs, but there was a point where I was hurting for these as well, as my gear was changing frequently. With all that in mind, I think another thing that can really help you out if you're struggling, you're trying to find upgrades, you don't know what to do with your character. I know I got stuck on the Act 1 boss. I have 4,000 hours in PoE 1, and I got to the Act 1 boss and was like, I need help. I was talking to my friend in Discord, and I was like, I need Jesus, please. You gotta help me, man. Like, I had to go back to town, and I was like, hey, I need a skill, I need something. What I'm doing ain't working. This boss is farming my ass. Essentially, go do your best. And PoE is kind of like a frustrating game in this way, especially if you're new. Go do your best to find a content creator that is playing something that you think you'd enjoy, that you're currently enjoying, but it's not working out and you want to figure out how to play it. I know there's a few great examples. Mathel, I think, is playing the Invoker Monk. I know a few people are playing the Chonk. John Rose playing like a DD version of it. I'm sure plenty of people are playing Warrior and playing Slam. I know Flubgun's playing Ranger and playing Deadeye. I know Grimrose playing the Blood Mage. And Gazzy's playing Minions as I am. I think that is a huge step in being able to get an idea or a grasp of what you should be doing, even if you don't want to copy them outright. They'll put you in the right direction, and you can go from there. If you happen to be playing Minions, as I am, you can always check out my Twitch stream. I'll be putting out a few videos in a day or two about how my League Start went and what I opted to do. I think there are a few things with Minions that are particularly good, but there will be more on that in another video. If you found this helpful, like, comment, subscribe, and thanks for watching. I'll see you later. Peace, guys.
What's this? A real challenge? You've finally caught my attention.